shape. 4-5. Oh man, this is a success story right here. This is what the music business is supposed to be like. What we're experiencing from this young lady who has really hit the ground and has really made a large impact in the R&B scene and the music scene in general. She's made fashion statements, but also her conscientious music and her testimony has been definitely there to empower young women and also to educate young men about how young women think. Her music is so precocious for her age, which I'm not quite sure what it is. But I know she hasn't been on the planet half as long as I've been here, So if I'm in my 40s, she's somewhere around that point, Heather B. I remember we first had her on our show 4 years ago.
Wow.
In 2014, and we knew then. A friend of mine always tell this story because these stories are important. Somehow they get lost in translation. And a friend of mine told me that her daughter found some artist on YouTube that she was really excited about. Her daughter goes by the name of Psy. Yes. And for a while, she was poking at her mom, who works in the business, who goes by the name of Suzette Williams. Yes. If I'm mistaken, correct me, please. And after a while, Suzette was able to make that connection with this young lady in her beginning stages and help her develop herself as an artist and introduce her to people that could help take the career even further. And since then, that belief that Suzette Williams had, that insight that she had, that foresight that she had, has definitely paid off. Not everybody know how to find artists. Some people know how to promote them. Some people know how to market them. But they can't tell you if they could find an artist. Suzette Williams found an artist, Heather B. And she's here with us today, having everything revealed. Please welcome her, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm feeling great. Great to be back.
Oh, man, it's good to have you back. You've done so much in this past 4 years.
Yeah.
And we've seen all kind of people start to gravitate towards you. If you look at her Instagram page, you see the legendary, iconic Janet Jackson standing near her side. Wow. Did you know Janet when you first met us?
No. I did not. No. And she didn't know me either.
She didn't, right?
Yeah.
What did she say to you when she met you?
She told me that she plays Volume 2 all the time. She listens to my music and in her car, it's just the music she listens to. And she sings every single word. She came to my show in London. And she was just asking me questions, where you from? What's your journey like? It was crazy. Janet Jackson was trying to get to know me.
Isn't that crazy?
Insane.
Did she have a particular song she liked from Volume 2?
I think it was Changes that she was singing live, but I don't know. I'm not exactly sure. She just told me all of Volume 2 on repeat.
How do you handle yourself? I mean, you're an artist. You since you were a child, you come from a musical family.
Yeah.
Out of Northern California, the Bay Area.
Bay Area.
Oh gosh, wait, don't start.
Wow. But at that point, I'm trying to think if it's somebody I met that does what we do here. Like a Howard Stern always compliments our show, and I remember when I first met him, I kind of didn't know what to say, and he was talking to me like I was a peer. You know what I mean? Which I am, but he saw me as his equal almost.
Right.
To have Janet talk to you about music.
Yeah, insane. Insane.
What'd you ask her?
I asked her, I said, how long you in London? She told me she moved there. And I told her about the time Ronnie Jerkins actually handed me the phone and I spoke to Michael Jackson.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that was crazy. I was 10 years old, and we were actually leaving the studio. We got to the corner, and Rodney Jerkins was running down the block to give us the phone. And I was wondering who it was, and it was Michael Jackson. So I told her about that story. Crazy. Super crazy.
Did she give you a Michael story back?
No, she didn't. She didn't. I was waiting for it, too. No, but the conversation was crazy. It was like a heart-to-heart, and it was sweet. She's sweet, soft-spoken.
Wow.
Yeah.
H.E.R is here. We're going to talk about all the things you got going on, but just watching these are milestones in your career, and it's also confirmation that you're moving down a great path.
Absolutely.
Rihanna. You know, I saw Rihanna post that Instagram video, and I think she had, was it Focus in the background?
Yep.
She had Focus in the background, and what? It's Rihanna.
Yeah.
Like, who's bigger than Rihanna?
You know, what's crazy about that video is like she kind of made her own music video to it. Like it wasn't just like, oh, I like this song, check out this song. It was like, this is my video, you know, and my hair's blown in the wind, and this is the song that's appropriate for this video. So it just shows me that she actually listens to the music and loves the music for what it is, and that's the goal. And it's Rihanna. Like,
so when are y'all starting work on her next project?
We have like. I can't even say too much. People have been twisting my words around, thinking that, you know, it's something, you know,
that is
more than what
yet.
it is, right?
Yeah,
that it's not yet, that
okay.
it's becoming. But yeah, we have a relationship, and it's growing into something beautiful.
Listen, we're not here to twist your words. We can say them slowly, one at a time. Okay, you just got to. You guys are acquaintances now, and you have music between you, and potentially there could be something that comes out of that.
Yeah, and outside of music, really.
Outside of music?
Outside of
so
music.
you're going to be hanging out with Rihanna, maybe? I'm coming.
Maybe.
I was there in 2014. I'm from the Bay.
That's right.
Well, I had heard, and I'm happy that you here can clear it up, that she had actually gotten into your DMs on Instagram to see if you guys could collaborate. And I'm not sure. I know obviously a lot of people can meet in that way, outside of just music as well, to work on anything. Did that happen? And
Absolutely.
Also, okay, cool.
It was more so her team kind of reaching out to my team, and then Omar, who works closely to her, is good friends with Jeff Robinson. So they speak closely, and he's with Rihanna 24/7. So yeah, we speak in that way, and yeah, it's other stuff outside of music that we want to do together creatively, you know, as artists and as young women in the music industry, you know.
I like that. Her is here, ladies and gentlemen. The music I always thought was, even when Volume 1 came out, I was like, who is this person? And we've spoke on all of this before. What I'm most happy about is that you sustain that continuity in your music, right?
Thank you.
And now that people are starting to recognize it, you're teaming up with some really heavy hitters in this game.
Yeah.
Daniel Caesar.
Yeah.
Talk about him. How did
He's
you connect?
talented.
Yeah.
He's super talented. He's dope. But I was actually in a session, and it ended early, and he came in with his team through somebody at RCA introduced us, and he came in, and we were just talking. Like, we were sharing music, we were playing each other new songs and stuff that was unreleased at the time, and yeah, he had his guitar on him, and I had my guitar, and we just decided to just jam out and write and see what happened. And I feel like it was like a Lauryn Hill D'Angelo moment, you know, in a way. Like, that's what it felt like. And I was telling people, like, the conversation was just ridiculous. Like, he's so smart and so creative, and together we were just vibing. Like, that's one of my good friends now. And yeah, Best Part came, and we were in the studio till like 5 a.m. just talking, vibing, talking about music. It was great.
Did he have a different, like, does anybody you work with have a interesting work process that you was like, or has it all just kind of?
You know, it really depends, but it's all about the vibe in the room.
Yeah.
Like, I walk into a session pretty optimistic. Like, I don't really, you know, assume it's going to be a certain way, or I don't think like, okay, we should write like this. It's just about what happens, because as creative people, we're kind of like all over the place, you know, bouncing off the walls. Like, and any way we can create music, you know, we make it happen. Like, Quincy Jones, like, he used to sample like random sounds of like, you know, whatever's in the room, you know, so creative process is not one way, and it's never one way. And so with him, it was just like conversation, and that's my favorite way to write, just talking and instruments.
Yeah. What I love about your lyrics and your music is, whether they are or not, they just seem so introspective, you know. And then you touch on things that even I, you know, as a mature fellow, can relate to, you know. And I was saying earlier that what I like about your music is it's definitely it's coming from a woman's lens, but it's universal in the sense that we could learn as men too, how a person may think. In a case in the point, a song like Focus, you know, and I, you know, being in the business for so long, a lot of times I find myself having a hard time to keep focus on the person that I'm with.
Absolutely.
Not because I'm out philandering, but because it's just so much energy coming my direction, so I'm trying to pay attention to this, and this person is over here, you know, in the corner. I'm not realizing I'm losing focus. What sparked this song?
I think just being a young woman, I think all women can relate. I was very vulnerable, very needy. I'm such a needy person. I think a lot of women are. You know, we need our attention, and that's the place I was coming from. It's like sometimes in a relationship or in, you know, in life, like things are a certain way in the beginning, and then we get comfortable. We get comfortable, and things turn out to be a little bit less important, and we kind of take stuff for granted. So that's the place I was in, kind of feeling like I don't want to be taken for granted. You know.
You don't want to be taken for granted.
Yeah.
I don't think you have that problem no more, though, right?
Right. No, absolutely not.
You're making more than him.
Right.
I mean,
knows her
he gonna
worth.
pay close attention. But wait, before you go in there, I'm noticing something because you two known each other for a long time too.
Oh, a long time.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is like my sweetheart.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Really?
Family.
Yeah, family.
Family?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
You
we
should
matched today.
Yeah, I was
We
gonna say, what
matched
is
today.
I don't even know. Now that part.
That's where I was going.
No, that part I didn't plan. But what I want to say that I think a lot of people don't have an opportunity to see, maybe 1 minute, 2 minute video clips. But I'm so proud of you because this young lady from day one has worked really hard. I don't think people understand it with the team. Shout out to Swag and Hootie. Like the team that came together where you watch this young lady come in that studio with her guitar and fly in from the Bay Area. Okay, Swag, I said it.
You felt good though. Empowering to say it.
And right from her heart. And I'm just so happy. I'm happy that it's all finally coming together, and it's just a testimony for anybody out there, because it's going to be some dark days when you start out on this road and this journey to fulfill your purpose in life. But you know, it happens eventually. If you stay in the game, you'll get that win. You know, so I'm just happy today.
Thank you.
Dark, you had dark days?
I think we all have dark days, you know, and especially being so young in the music industry, I've had to grow up fast and kind of be a student of the game. And in the music, you know, people don't realize there's points where, you know, you could be eating ramen one day and you could be eating lobster one day, you know, and it's a lot of ups and downs, you know what I'm saying? Like, I always say that, you know, it's real. Like, you know, thankfully I've been so young where it wasn't like I was, you know, having the worst of days. You know, I was still a kid in it all, but it can be very frustrating, you know, as an artist, finding yourself and the pressures of being in the music industry, pressures of being a young woman and growing up as a young woman in this era of, you know, of Kardashians and like the expectation of what an artist should be or what a woman should look like. And that's where the darkness comes from, and the relationships even.
Yeah.
You know, relationships and being in the music industry and the balance of that. But it's just life, and the rewards are incredible.
Yeah.
So I honestly just thank God every day, because dark days are going to come, like in whatever you do. There's always going to be a low point, but you just have to stay the path. And I feel like that's what I did. And right now it's been very rewarding, and I've been very grateful every day. I'm busy, I'm doing something, and I'm still young. So, you know, it's not always going to be great, but yeah, I'm in a good place, and there's a lot of people that wish they could be in this position. So I'm just thankful.
Her, ladies and gentlemen. That's about the time the video kind of goes out of focus. Go see that video, Her. It's an acronym, having everything revealed. H.E.R. And she's here. Congratulations once again on all that
Thank
success.
you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're going on tour with Chris Brown.
Yes, I am.
Oh my God!
Oh yeah.
Breezy.
Oh yeah.
There's nobody more electrifying on that stage.
Yeah, he is quite the entertainer.
Chris Brown.
Yeah. Yeah.
And quietly, he's one of the probably one of the most profound songwriters in the game right now. Like, Chris writes hits.
He does. Everything he touches goes number one.
Oh yeah, prolific.
Right.
Prolific. Thank you. Thank you, Tracy, for finally chiming in.
No.
Who else is on the tour?
We have Black. who's incredible,
That's my homie.
and Rich the Kid.
Rich the Kid?
Yep.
Did you see Rich the Kid go to what campus was that? USC, I think, and invaded the classroom?
Oh shoot, and went hard.
Yeah, you saw that?
Yeah.
He's living good.
That's gonna be great. I can't wait to be on the side of the stage during that performance. I want to see that.
Are you the only woman on the tour?
I am. I'm the only female. I'm gonna be repping the female.
Hold it
You're the
down
queen.
for
You're gonna be the
us.
queen
I
right
will.
there. How do you deal with, because you're a beautiful young lady, and you make very attractive music. You make music that gives off a certain energy. How do you ward off men?
That's
You put that.
that's what I have. Right. I got Jeff Robinson for that.
That's
Jeff
what Jeff
Robinson,
does?
and
Okay.
there's a lot of big brothers on my team. And
Okay.
they look out. Like I have a lot of big brothers.
Okay.
A lot of them. So they all look out for me. So I don't even have to do it really. And when they get to me, I'm like, you see
just
them
want-
over there? Like.
Yeah.
They don't play that, But I'm very, kind of conservative. I'm very low key, very private. I'm not very mixy. I don't be out and about. I don't associate myself with
Protect your vibes, man.
Right, absolutely. And it's always good vibes. It's good energy, and I always say women intuition is very strong, so I make sure I pay attention to that and see people's true intent at all times. Keep that guard up. So I think I'm gonna be okay.
You be all right?
Yeah, I'm gonna be okay.
I'm a part of that team too.
He a big brother.
I already
so-
know.
Okay,
right?
yeah. Yeah. I don't play. Go ahead, Tracy.
You know, when you mentioned earlier about how the industry can be so overly consumed, just overly focused on a woman's aesthetic, and sometimes that can happen outside of the industry too, with a person of interest who's more attracted to your surface than your actual substance.
Right.
And I'm wondering, when it comes to relationships, a lot of women aren't sure because everything comes with challenges. How do you know when to actually leave? What have you learned about that versus trying again?
Right, and I think about that all the time. When are you walking away just because it gets tough, and when are you walking away because it's time to walk away?
Exactly.
And I don't know. I'm very young, so I don't think I even have the answer. But I think we know individually. We feel that, and we have to put our feelings aside and not let it cloud the judgment. You know what I mean? And especially in relationships, when you love somebody, you do anything for them, and love is blind. All the time. So. It's really just about taking that time to focus on yourself and what you need and not what you want or what the other person wants. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But like I said, that intuition is a beast, and we don't pay attention to it.
And then the voice gets dimmer, actually.
Yeah, it does. It does. The more you don't listen to it. So it's just about exercising that intuition and using it and really listening to yourself and trusting yourself.
Yeah.
And not taking advice from people who don't have it all together either.
Don't take their own.
Right, exactly, or don't take their own. You have to pay attention to who you get your advice from. Because I say that even young men, they don't have a lot of positive role models, and they get their advice from men who don't know how to treat women, and that's a problem. So I think more young men should listen to women on how they want to be loved and how they want to be treated. Yeah. I feel very strongly about it, but
DB, are you learning from this, bro?
Kind of mad. I don't know all this stuff. What the hell?
How you treat women, DB?
Grown
You a
ass
whole-
man, and she over here
a
spitting
whole
game. I'm
grown
like,
man.
shit, right? Taking notes. Like, damn.
Right.
Well, you know what then? Her, what's the most thoughtful demonstration of love that you've received from a man? Or interest, whatever.
I mean, the ultimate thing is unconditional love, and loving you when you're at your lowest point and being selfless. And, one thing that I've experienced, and I'm not going to put my business out there, but one thing I experience is with all the accolades and any money or whatever, there's always a man in my life who will always pay or will always go out their way to make sure I know that their intentions are pure. You know what I mean? So that's really what it is. When he shows you who he really is, pay attention.
Yes, my Angelo.
But yeah, that unconditional, selfless love.
Who is this, Heather?
I don't know. I'm just happy. No, I'm happy. I'm like, yay! My pom-poms are just up. I'm loving it.
All right, H.E.R is here. And you got new music?
I do.
Talk about that.
I have new music. I've been previewing it on stage, so you have to come to a show if you want to see a preview. But I'm working on my debut album, you know, because the EPs are just the beginning, and my album's definitely going to be progressive, and it's still going to be honest. But yeah, I'm excited about it.
I'm excited.
I'm excited about it.
You've taken chances that most new artists may not, you know, be brave enough or courageous enough to do, you know, and you have a certain level of independence about you that I really like. You know, you got a lot of recognition from SoundCloud. You know, I mentioned the story about YouTube already. Your postings there too, and you know, it's always an ever-evolving industry and things change. So maybe those platforms aren't the best now. I'm not sure, but what if you had an artist that you knew of that was coming up and was at those beginning stages as you were at one point? What would you tell them to do? How would you tell them to get their music out now?
Man, I mean, social media is like the greatest, you know, thing, but focus on the music and like focus on the message and be about your message. Like really be about your message and don't try to be like anybody else but yourself, and don't try to top anybody else but yourself. That's the main thing for me, because like we were talking about earlier, the pressures of other artists coming up, we tend to think we have to be like the newest thing out or the hottest thing out. And if you really just stay the path of your path, you know, if you stay on your path and figure out who it is you are and what you stand for, then, you know, people have no choice but to respect that. And that's more identifiable than anything else, than you trying to copy anything else.
And then they come hither.
Absolutely, and they come, yeah.
And when you go to one of her concerts, it just look like a, you know, it's almost, I don't want to say cult in a negative way, but all those people who are in your concerts sing every word.
Yeah, it's insane. Every single word.
Yeah.
Every single word.
Wow. Her is here. Akila's on the line from Michigan. Go ahead,
Akila.
Akila.
What's up, Akila?
Oh my God! Hi.
Hi.
I pretty much, you just answered my question. What you just said on the last question about an artist. I'll become an artist myself. Well, I'm not nowhere near you, but I just wanted to ask, like, what inspires you? What motivates you to keep going? Like, to write your message, like you said.
You know, honestly, I've kind of found a lot of motivation more recently. The fact that I realized in everything I write about and talk about, other people go through it. So sometimes as artists, because I've been in the same position as you, like you're not very far from me, only because I was just you like 2 seconds ago, you know, and having a message and not being confident in speaking on it. And I had to be pushed to like release music and really put myself out there. But I kind of lost my train of thought, but you know, it's scary putting your message, and my music is like my diary. So you just have to realize, like, you're not alone. Like, nothing is too much or unheard of. Everybody goes through, you know, what they go through, and it's okay to be honest. It's okay to be vulnerable.
Thank you for your call, Akila. I know you have to go. But man, you guys, if you want to reach her directly, hit her on her social media.
Yeah. At Her Music Official on Instagram and Twitter, at Her Music X.
So, will you ever come from behind the shadows, or is this just what it is right now?
It's just what it is right now. I mean, organically it'll happen, but I just want people to mess with the music and not pay attention to what I look like or, you know, whatever. So it's about the music. We're going to keep it about the music.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right, man. Her, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you. Catch her on tour with Chris Brown. The new video for Focus is out now. The tour starts Friday.
No, tickets go on sale
Tickets
tomorrow.
go on sale tomorrow, right? It's going to be a bomb-ass tour.
Hell yeah.
Anything you want to say in closing?
I'm happy to be back here with my family.
Thank you. That's what's
Good
up.
to be back
Okay.
with family.
Next time, bring the guitar.
I will.
Okay? All right, cool. All right, that's what's up. Her, ladies and gentlemen. Up next, who we got, DB?
Ray J and his fiance, wife.
Princess is it?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Oh, shoot.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He came riding the bike too. He's riding.
Did
the
he
bike,
really?
right?
He zoomed by.
888-742-3345.